All right, thank you, Jessica. Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar on the National Campaign to Prevent Falls in Construction, getting ready for the 2019 Safety Stand Down. I'm Cain, and as the Executive Director of CPWR, I'll be presenting some of our stand down resources today. I'm joined by Scott Earnest, Deputy Director for the Office of Construction Safety and Health and Coordinator for the NORA Construction Sector at NIOSH, as well as Scott Ketcham, Acting Director, OSHA Directorate of Construction. Today, together our three organizations have been leading the fall prevention campaign since 2012. During this webinar, you'll hear a little bit about the background of the campaign and why it's so important, as well as how the stand down came about and became a success. Finally, we hope you'll walk away with some new ideas and materials for your own stand downs. We'll take some time at the end of today's presentation to answer questions. You can enter your questions in the Q&A or chat box at any time during the presentation, and we will do our best to answer all of them at the end. Before we get into our presentation, I want to mention that Jessica Bunting here at CPWR is our webinar host and technical support person, and she's available if you have any issues at all. You can send her a chat in WebEx or reach out to her via email by responding to the WebEx reminder email you received about an hour ago or using the email address you see on the screen right now. With that, I'll hand it over to Scott Earnest with NIOSH to get started.
Okay, thanks, Chris. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes. They can't answer, but I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Well, it's great to be with you. I'm excited to be here, and I'm going to start off providing some background about how the National Falls Prevention Campaign and Stand Down began, and I'm very pleased to be able to participate today. So first off, the primary goal of the campaign is to provide residential construction contractors and owners with information to allow them to create the necessary conditions to safely work at elevation. The campaign was originally developed through the NORA Construction Sector Council. OSHA, CPWR, and NIOSH are the campaign leaders, and the Sector Council has also provided leadership and been a sounding board in moving this activity forward. Many of you are members, and we appreciate your efforts. The campaign is based on scientific evidence. We've also evaluated the impact and reach of the campaign and are continuing to do this. The Campaign to Prevent Falls in Construction is a joint government labor management effort occurring through the National Occupational Research Agenda. The campaign purpose is to address the top cause of construction industry fatalities. The primary audience of the campaign is small residential construction contractors. But we're also excited that mid-size and large contractors have participated, and we want to keep in mind that the small contractors get and use the information that the stand down provides. Secondary and tertiary audiences include supervisors and foremen for the contractors, as well as the workers, including Spanish-speaking workers. So why are we focused on falls? Well, we know that unsafe practices are happening every day on construction sites. We know that based upon the statistics. We know that year after year, falls are the leading cause of fatalities in the construction industry. We also know that violations of OSHA regulations on the top 10 list are frequently fall-related. The next few slides come from CPWR's chart book. It's just some data on falls, and then I also wanted to mention that later on, and Scott Ketcham's going to touch on some BLS data that OSHA has as well. From 2003 to 2015, each year there were between 250 and 450 fatalities related to falls in construction. Now this pie chart shows data from 2011 to 2015 when there was a total of 1,533 deaths. And based on that total of over 1,500 fatalities, nearly 75% of all those fatalities were related to falls from roofs, ladders, and scaffolds in that order. So roofs is in red, the falls from ladders is in dark blue, and the falls from scaffolding is in light blue. So it's a very large percentage of the total. Then when you look at the distribution of fatal falls to a lower level by establishment size, it's clear why we want to focus on the small contractors. If you look at the red, that's contractors with 1 to 10 employees. That represents 61% of all the fatalities. And then if you add the dark blue, that's another 13.2%. So you add those two up, for businesses that have 20 or fewer employees, it's close to 75% of all the falls, the red and the dark blue. This bar chart shows the construction occupations that are most impacted by falls from elevation. If you look on the left-hand side in red, the occupations with the greatest number of falls include roofers, laborers, and foremen. And then over on the right-hand side of this bar chart in blue that's the rates of falls. And the occupations with the highest rates of falls, again, you have roofers, but you also have iron workers and power line installers that have very high rates of falls. So those are some of the groups that we're particularly concerned about. Our research shows that the main cause of falls deaths, and injuries. And understanding the causes can help us pave the way to solutions. The main messages for the campaign and the stand down are to plan ahead to get the job done safely, to provide the right equipment for the task at hand, and to train everyone to use the equipment safely. In this way, safety pays and falls cost. NIOSH is part of the Centers for Disease Control, and each year we use the CDC webpage to feature the stand down on their website. The image on this slide is from 2017, but we're planning to do a similar feature this year in April. This slide shows the NIOSH homepage, and the resource directory points to the campaign website and the stand down that's shown. We've also created a series of short videos for the campaign. We update these videos each year, and these videos are available to download and can be used for your activities, for your training, and for other campaign support. The most recent videos that we've developed that are going up in the next week or so are videos from the Kentucky FACE State, that's the Fatality Assessment and Control Program at NIOSH. There's also a video featuring the OSHA Area Director in New York City on the falls campaign and preventing falls. And then also there's a business perspective from the CEO of Safeway, which is another campaign partner. We also have a significant presence on social media and conduct multiple daily tweets. So please feel free to use the information that you can find on CPWR's website and their Twitter page, on the OSHA website and their Twitter, as well as from NIOSH. Please get and use this information for your stand down. Each year, NIOSH has produced a science blog on the stand down campaign. This slide shows the NIOSH science blog from last year, and we're planning to update that with a new science blog in the next month. Last year was the 5-year anniversary of the stand down, and so we did some videos related to that. This slide shows some of the organizations that participated in the videos that we developed. Again, these videos are resources that can be downloaded and used, and we're also developing co-branded infographics with CPWR. This slide shows one of the infographics from last year. Our infographics are available in both English and Spanish, and this first infographic focuses on research that's in the FACE reports, or the Fatality Assessment and Control reports from NIOSH. We wanted to address the high proportion of construction workers who do not have access to personal fall arrest systems. 70% of workers in residential roofing, siding, and sheet metal construction did not have access to this equipment. All these infographics can be viewed and downloaded in PDFs as well as in JPEGs, and they can be used on social media, in your presentations, as well as in print material to get the word out. Another infographic that we had put together last year focuses on small business and residential construction contractors. They're the ones that are most disproportionately at risk, so we wanted to make this a focus to bring attention to the disparity. 75% of fatal falls occur in employers with fewer than 20 employees. We also continue to focus our outreach to small residential contractors, including those that serve Spanish-speaking audiences. So we've been working with Alianza America to get information to some of those groups. Alianza America is a network of more than 50 immigrant-led, community-based organizations representing over 100,000 families across the U.S. And that concludes my update, and at this point I'll turn it over to OSHA, and it's, I believe Scott Ketcham is going to give the update, the Acting Director for the Directorate of Construction.
Important matter in regards to trying to reduce injuries, illnesses, and deaths in regards to falls in construction. So I'm very happy to be here representing the Director of Construction and OSHA to talk with you about this important matter. As you all know, we've been doing the fall stand down. This will be going into the 6th year. And the dates for this year's National Safety Stand Down to Prevent Falls in Construction will be May 6th through 10th. 2019. We're looking forward to another great event. And with your support, we'll get the point across, and folks will be, hopefully, have more heightened awareness of fall hazards in their workplace starting here immediately. So I want to talk a little bit about the National Safety Stand Down to Prevent Falls in Construction that we did last year. Last year was a big success in many ways. We reached nearly 1,000 workers with 5,000 certificates. We had over 16 million impressions from billboards across the nation. Werner Ladder, and that was from Lamar Billboards. Werner Ladder also trained 35,000 workers at over 200 events nationwide and gave us impressions on the ESPN Golic and Wingo show, which certainly got the information out there to the public and our constituents that we're concerned about. But the most important thing about the fall stand down is that it's a huge success in large and small companies. This started as a project that has exceeded our expectations as far as it is the largest compliance assistance project that involving construction that OSHA has done, and we're looking forward to your participation in it to make it a success moving forward. So this year's National Stand Down is going to coincide with the Construction Safety Executive Safety Week events. And so we wanted to culminate all of these events during a week when many people are standing down for various reasons to reemphasize safety. And what a better time to do that in coordination with the Safety Week. So we're looking forward to continuing that process to draw as many construction contractors and others into this fall stand down as we can, with the goal of increasing awareness for falls in the workplace, and hopefully with the end goal of preventing injuries and reducing the number of fatal incidences that we have out in the industry. So we have many stakeholders and partners involved in this process. My challenge to those out there is that we can make this slide a little smaller and add more. Well, we'd like you on there. So, you know, we want to include as many people as we can. We'd love to see you up there. We'd like to see more people participating in this worthy event to prevent falls in construction. So why are we doing this? Well, if you look at the top 10 violations in construction, you can see that falls have a part in about 6 out of the top 10 standards that are cited in regards to hazards that compliance officers see out in the field in the construction industry trades. You can see the general requirements, 1926-501 is number 1. Number 2, scaffolding has 451G, which has the requirement for guardrails and fall issues there. Many times, all of these issues, scaffolding, ladders, aerial lifts, all have a fall hazard component to it, or a fall protection component to it as well, which is a better way of looking at it. But you can see that out of the top 10 issues that OSHA has looked at regarding hazards in the workplace, you can see falls are relevant in 6 out of 10 of our top 10. So another concern of ours is the fatal rate in construction. You can see that the total fatalities in all trades in construction went down by 20 between 2016 and 2017. That's BLS data. And you can see that the rate went down. All of us, I think, are in concert to wanting to see that number go down as close to zero or zero as quickly as we can. So we need to work together to try to keep that rate going in the right direction. And we're happy to see it going down, but still, that's 971 employees, people, that didn't go home to their families. And that's something that we've got to keep in our minds. So relative to falls, if you look at total falls in all industries, which includes construction, general industry, and agriculture, and I believe maritime as well, that's 887 fatal falls in 2017. That's a lot. In the total falls in construction, there were 386, which is an increase from 2016 BLS data by 2. But if you look at the tracking mechanism that we primarily use as part of the fall stand down, the construction falls to the lower level went down by 4. So we are making some progress. We'd like to see more progress. We'd like to see that go down by much more than 4. We'd like to see it 0 eventually. But with your help and participation in this, I think we can get there in the future. So what we're finding also in the falls, in relationship to falls, is about 42% of all falls that lead to deaths to a lower level are 15 feet or less. Now, out of 713 fatalities, you can see that 42% makes quite a bit of fatal falls at a lower level. When you go up above more than 30, or if it was unspecified, that's another 31%, that we're talking about there. But statistically to us, 42% of all falls being less than 15 feet or less, is something that we definitely wanted to point out to you. So what is our message in the fall campaign? Us and our partners are all proud to put the message out that if you plan to get the job done safely ahead of time, you provide the right equipment, and you train everyone to use the equipment safely, we can prevent a lot of these injuries, illnesses, and deaths. So plan, provide, train is something that, as it says in the statement there are 3 simple steps to preventing falls. And we're looking forward to providing more information about plan, provide, train. So what have we done in the previous years? You can see we've had 5 separate stand downs previous to this year, and we focused on different things along the way, and we've had different trades that we've shown in each one of our posters. This year's poster is talking about the individual. It's really talking about that tight-knit small stand down that happens at the company level, where it doesn't necessarily have to be a huge stadium event, but this is where it happens. Doing a pre-job analysis, reviewing the equipment, and making sure that it's used properly out in the work environment. This is something that we really wanted to show in this poster. And you can see there are 3 posters up there. The left one is in English. The center one is in Spanish, and the one on the right was at the request from other participants within that participate in the stand down to address it in other areas other than construction. So the right poster is National Safety Stand Down to Prevent Falls, period. And so it's something that we added this year at the request of people who gave us feedback on how we could make sure that we're as inclusive as possible to others who want to participate in this noteworthy event. So our resources that we have out there include fall prevention fact sheets, stickers through both the CPWR and through NIOSH and OSHA, which a lot of you have received out there and are using, and a training guide. If you haven't gone to our website, you'll find that there is a lesson plan for employers in both English and Spanish on there that is very useful to use. And then also, we've updated our ladder safety guide in English and Spanish. And it has a lot of different information in it, or updated information on ladders that we thought would be helpful. And we have lots and lots of fact sheets and other things on our web page addressing falls in the workplace. If you weren't aware also, we also have information on our web page that you can share that just give facts about, to use for social media that you can download on our fall prevention web page. And this is good stuff for you to use in your social media efforts to affect employees and employers and share with others who may need this information. And then we also have videos out there on leading edge work, floor openings, fixed scaffolds, and stopping falls and saving lives. And on the safety stand down there, that's also me. In the picture there for the video that was out, I almost lost my life in a fall when I was 19 years old. And I am a strong proponent of making sure that I spread that message as much as I can to folks out there that these things can happen to anyone. And when they happen, they're terrible. So we want to do as much as we can to prevent these types of things from occurring. Here's our website. At OSHA in regards to plan, provide, train, and has a lot of resources there for you to use. And you should use them as part of your stand down. So after you do your stand down, if you want to, you can go to our webpage and get a certificate of participation for holding your stand down. The certificate is a thank you from the Department of Labor, and we're thankful that you do it. And if you provide a short survey, you can print you have the choice to provide a short survey, and then you print your certificate. We're trying to express to as many folks, your input is important. If you want the stand down in the future to include things that you think are important that we might be missing out on, we're looking forward to getting information from you so that we can improve your experience in the stand down in whatever way we can. We want to lead the way towards this being an event that meets your needs, and we adjust as necessary. So nothing's changed in regard to the certificate levels of recognition. We still have bronze for 2-time participants, silver for 3, gold for 4, and then platinum for 5-time participants. So now I'm going to turn this over to Chris Cain and CPWR's portion of this webinar. I thank you for your time.
All right, thanks, Scott. Scott and Scott, really happy to now share with you some resources we have available from CPWR. We operate the Stop Construction Falls website, the official website of the Falls campaign. We're able to include information on this website to help folks with the campaign to prevent falls and the stand down. Totally for free from resources, both from OSHA and NIOSH, but other sources as well, as folks have told us that what would be helpful for them to do stand downs and to deal with this issue all year long. So the planning resources, we're really excited this year to be focusing on planning, and I'll talk a little bit more about it. But to start planning for the stand down, the promotional resources that you can use from our website include a flyer about the campaign, posters, a promotional video that you can share about the campaign to get and stand down to get folks excited. A day-by-day planning document for the stand down week is something that has been included on our website, and we've been told is very helpful when planning activities during the stand down week. Past stand downs, success stories, and evaluation reports of the stand downs over the years are included on the website. We have a lot of training resources and handouts that are available through the website. Of course, we have hard hat stickers, hazard alert cards on falls, on harnesses, on aerial lifts, on scaffolding, infographics and toolbox talks on a variety of topics, videos on real-life experiences and training. We have links to the NIOSH Ladder app ladder app, as well as the NIOSH aerial lift simulator on the Stop Construction Falls website. We have equipment inspection checklists and a lot more. In 2019, we're adding some information to the webpage based on what you've told us. It would be helpful. One of the things we're working on is an easy access resource page just for the stand down. Based on the popularity of our 5-day plan and from a suggestion from our partners at OSHA, we've created a one-stop stand down page that pulls everything you need into one place to do a stand down in addition to our 5-day plan. We're going to be updating the 5-day plan for 2019 as soon as we've gotten all of the materials that we're in the process of preparing done and ready for sharing. We're currently working to complete infographics that Scott Earnest mentioned that we're working with NIOSH on. These topics are going to be on suspension trauma as well as fall clearance calculations. What kind of room do we need to have if we're using a personal fall arrest system underneath the worker and the work? We're getting feedback on a final draft of a written fall protection plan that encourages all contractors to keep track of their plans to prevent falls, as well as to provide fall protection and rescue operations. Those written fall protection plans are not mandated in all cases by OSHA, but one of the things to focus on the planning aspect is something that we're excited about is to share a sample of a generic fall protection plan that can be modified and used on a variety of different job sites. A lot of our resources are available on the website that can be just downloaded for free and printed out and used in your company or on your job site. But we also have printed materials that we're happy and eager to send out. We have an online ordering form for the hard hat stickers, as well as the print versions of our hazard alert cards. These that contain the same information in the hazard alerts as are available as PDFs on our website, but some people like the small pocket-sized foldable versions that we can send out for free from CPWR through this online ordering form. We've been distributing printed materials for years, and the hard hat stickers since 2015. But what we found was in 2017 when we added an online ordering system through stopconstructionfalls.com, our orders went through the roof. It just makes it really easy to get a whole bunch of printed materials for free in order to prepare for the stand down. We are hoping that the numbers of materials we distribute this year will exceed last year's, but already I'm told we've shipped between 50 and 100,000 hard hat stickers alone. The online ordering is live, so please get your orders in early. We don't want to run out of stickers, and we will reorder them if we're running low in the coming weeks. One thing I did want to mention is if you do go online and you'd like to order hard hat stickers, we have a limit of 1,000 that you can order through the online source, as well as a limit of 100 of hazard alert cards per topic. That's just because we want to make sure we have enough printed materials to go around. We can send you more if your company needs more. However, we would want to deal with you offline to make sure we know exactly what you need and when you need it and where you need it. So there's instructions on the form for how to contact us. Our Fatality Mapping project has been part of the Falls campaign since the beginning, and since 2011 we've been mapping and documenting construction-related on-the-job fatalities across the nation, not just from Falls. These maps have been, people have described these maps are useful in training classes and whatnot because you can drill down. It's an interactive live map where you can drill down into your community, into your state, and actually read about specific construction fatalities that have occurred near you. We have a map for all fatalities and one for falls, so you can see exactly what's going on. All of these data behind the maps is on our website and available for download. They're based on OSHA investigations and online media sources, all things in the public domain about construction worker fatalities. Also, we wanted to make sure that we provide resources for people to focus on falls all year long. This campaign is around the year. The stand down is 1 week, but we want to keep a focus on this and provide some guidance on different things you can do throughout the year to keep your focus on preventing falls throughout the year. And this information also, of course, is available on stopconstructionfalls.com. With that, I am finished and would love it if you, Jessica, you would be able to moderate some questions for us that have come in.
Sure. Thanks, Chris. Scott Ketcham, I have a question for you about the videos you were discussing. Are they available in Spanish?
I don't believe they are, but yeah, just the subtitling, I believe, is in Spanish, yes.
Okay, great. And for the folks asking about whether the slides will be available, I will send out an email in the next couple of days following this event with a recording of the webinar as well as a PDF of the slides. That's actually all we have in the way of questions. If anyone has anything, you can go ahead and type it in now. Or if you think of any questions later on, you're welcome to just email me and I can put you in touch with the correct person, or you can get in touch with the presenters individually. I think everyone must have gotten the information that they need.
Jessica, I have one question. I don't know if you can see it, but it says it would be extremely helpful if a verification email went out when you order items from the website. So, Kevin, thank you for that question or that suggestion. Duly noted. We'll see if we can make that happen.
Okay. I just got another question as well. Given that there is usually a limited amount of time available for the site stand downs, approximately 20 to 30 minutes, what do you cover without going too in depth?
This is Scott. I would just say the stand down is really an employer's or stakeholders or a group's opportunity to cover issues that they need to cover. And we really didn't set any time length that would be that we think would be appropriate, because it really depends on the issues of the people who are the reason why you're having the stand down. So it's not necessarily how long, but what type of quality information you get out and you transfer between employees to highlight their awareness of fall issues in the workplace. So I don't know that we can put a time frame down on it or how technical it needs to be. It just needs to be effective for the audience that is participating.
This is Jessica. Go ahead.
This is Scott Earnest. I was just going to add a little bit that if you go to the website, we've got some examples of how you can go about planning a specific event. But, in one case, you might focus on making the case for focusing on falls and why it's important. And another time you might spend on going through toolbox talks related to falls from aerial lifts and how to prevent it, falls from roofs, how to prevent that, falls from ladders. Another activity you could set time aside to basically do a demonstration on fall protection equipment and what it is, how it's used properly. So there's a lot of things. If you go to the website and just kind of look there, there's a lot of great information that could be helpful to you in planning the stand downs.
Yeah, and I would add that all of us partners, NIOSH, CPWR, and OSHA, we all have resources on our webpage all of our web pages have resources that you can use to plan your stand down and giving you ideas of topics to cover, whether they be, as Scott was saying, a toolbox talk or other things. And I just wanted to add, we just verified on the video. There's a lot of languages on there. We just watched one of the videos in Russian, so you can put it in many different languages. The videos that we have available.
That's great. Thanks, Scott. And I just wanted to add, so Scott, Ernest mentioned the toolbox talks as a good option if you do only have 20 to 30 minutes. And Chris talked a lot about our hazard alert cards, which come in on 3 different topics. So I just wanted to mention that those, if you order them through the online ordering form, they are small pocket-sized trifold cards that can just be handed out to workers with limited explanation based on the time that you have. So ordering those might be a good option to supplement whatever you're able to do in the time that you do have. Let's see. We are getting more questions in. Sorry, I'm just trying to sort through them. Someone asked again if the webinar information will be available online, and it will be online. It will also be emailed out to all of you directly, to everyone who registered. You don't have to follow up with me. I will automatically send you this information. Our next question is, housekeeping is a fall hazard. Is there a typical form for the issue? And Mark, I'm not quite sure what you mean by form. But we do have some stand-down participants I know in the past who have participated that don't actually work from heights. We've had a lot of people who just work in offices even participate. So housekeeping is certainly an issue people have focused on, along with slips and trips. I know we do have, I believe on Stop Construction Falls, under the success story examples of what people have done in the past, there's some information about how UCOR did a Walking is Working campaign that focused a lot on that. So there are some examples of what people have done in the past. But that's certainly an area that we can focus on going forward as far as resource creation. Scott, I don't know if either of your organizations have more to offer.
I have something to add to that. I don't know if it's on our Stop Construction Falls website, but we can put it on there. We do have a toolbox talk, CPWR does, on housekeeping. And the specific example that's laid out as part of the toolbox talk lesson is about someone who trips because of poor housekeeping. I'm trying to post the link to it in the Q&A, but Jessica needs to teach me how, because I can't seem to
I'll post it momentarily in the chat box.
Okay, thanks.
So I can also send that out. I'll send out some links in addition to the presentation and the recording for how you get all of the materials that we're talking about today. Can you confirm that OSHA and Cal-OSHA fall threshold will become the same 6 feet? If so, when?
That's for Scott Ketcham.
Oh, Scott, if you're talking.
I will say that I
thought you were muted before, so if you said anything before, I will say we missed it.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I can't confirm that.
Okay.
So that's all I have about that. There are some issues, but no, I can't. For purposes of this right now, I cannot confirm that.
Are there any specific references on working around skylights or preventing falls through skylights? So CPWR and NIOSH do have one co-branded infographic about working around holes and skylights, and we do also have a toolbox talk on that as well, I think. I'm going to put the link to our whole toolbox talks page in the chat box.
Okay, and there's also, just to add to that, we have at least one FACE report, which is the NIOSH-funded Fatality Assessment and Control Evaluation Program about falls through skylights, and that is posted on stopconstructionfalls.com.
Okay. Is social media promotion included in the 5-day plan? It has not been in the past, but I can certainly include that in this year's plan as something new for how to promote for organizations that are more intermediaries. I will do that. Thank you, John. I have an incomplete question here. I didn't notice that it was represented on the pie chart. I think you're talking about housekeeping and the slips and trips. It may not have been in this pie chart, but I will share the full chart book, falls information and charts in the email that I send out. I believe that may have been it. We have a question about the certificate information that you collect at OSHA. Can you see how many times the company has participated in the stand down?
No, it's self-reported. We don't track it year to year, so we're hoping that people are forthright with us on how many times they participated in the fall stand down, but it is self-reported.
Okay. Is there any good place on the OSHA website that shows fatal falls that can be used for safety discussions to raise employee awareness?
Is the question asking about videos or other? I mean, our fall stand down page has a bunch of resources in it that I think would be very appropriate to use. I think that would be the place I would say that I would ask people to go to, or our Plan, Provide, Train webpage as well.
And we do have that type of information also on the Fatality Maps here at CPWR and on Stop Construction Falls that Chris mentioned earlier. Does CPWR maintain a database of construction falls saves related to the stand down activities? I'm not quite sure.
No, but we would love to hear about them. If you could share any information about saves, we would love to share that information with other people.
Someone also suggested looking at fatal facts within the OSHA website. How do you evaluate or identify workers at risk to a fall? Not sure if that's appropriate.
I'll answer that one. The way you identify workers at risk for falls is to identify the hazards they're exposed to on the job. That's things like unprotected edges, working on a ladder, working on poor scaffolding that's poorly designed, working on roofs without fall protection, things like that. That's how you identify workers who are at risk for a fall.
Do you think overhead protection is or should be included in the fall week?
I'll take that on. I think it's a subject, as we said, we give a lot of flexibility on the topics covered during a fall stand down. We want the overall emphasis on reducing fall hazards in the workplace, but we're not moot to the point that there are other hazards out there as well, like overhead hazards. For example, in the scaffolding industry, or when people are working at heights and people are working down below them, we think that that's important as well. We certainly wouldn't be against that.
All right, do we have any other questions? I have one more. Okay, this is just a helpful comment. There is a bilingual video from the California Department of Public Health Space Program on a fatal fall through a skylight posted on the website. There are actually a lot of FACE reports and resources posted on the website that talk about what actually happened for educational and relating purposes. Okay. The question about evaluating a worker, for clarification, how do you medically evaluate a worker to be at risk to fall? I don't know if anyone.
I think the answer is to remove job site hazards. I think that's the answer that I'd like to give for CPWR.
Okay. We are at the end of the questions that I have right now. Okay. Falls are the leading cause of traumatic brain injury. Is there a collaboration with the Brain Injury Association of America to heighten awareness of TBI specific to falls?
This is Scott Earnest. What I would say about traumatic brain injury is we've actually got some active research projects going on related to that, and we have a project in process now that's being funded by some large construction companies as well as some insurance companies on hard hat design and how better design of hard hats in construction could significantly impact and reduce the likelihood of traumatic brain injury.
I am going to put a resource from one of our attendees in the chat box for everyone that includes some additional California Department of Public Health falls and construction resources. So that's there as well. Is there anyone from CPWR, OSHA, or NIOSH that is willing to come out to a scheduled stand down to speak to workers?
Well, I'll speak for OSHA on that. We have 10 regional coordinators in all of our field offices in all 10 regions who are looking actively to participate engage in people's stand down events. So what I would encourage you to do would be to go to our Fall Stand Down webpage and look for the coordinator in the region that you live in, and contact that person. I can't speak for the resources in that area, but the best way to do that is to work through the regional coordinators in each one of OSHA's 10 regions, who will find the area office closest to you and see if they can't participate in your fall stand down.
Okay, and I just put the link
one last thing.
to that event page in the chat box as well.
Yeah, the one last thing I would say on that in regards as well is if it's open to the public, we will post it on our webpage as well so that other people can participate with you.
And CPWR does not have 10 regional offices to send people out to, but we have sent some of our few staff people out to stand-down events upon request in the past.
And NIOSH is sort of in a similar situation. We don't have the regional offices, but we do have some folks here that potentially could be available depending on where the location is, as well as a number of groups that we work with that might be able to assist.
Okay. So to Jimmy, who asked that question, since it looks like you are in the DMV area, certainly feel free to send me an email, and maybe we can have someone from either CPWR or NIOSH come out. All right. If you have any questions, again, that were not asked or answered on the webinar, feel free to get in contact with us after the event. And just a huge thank you to all of our presenters and everyone for attending and for participating in the stand-down.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a great afternoon.